What is up, beautiful people? I said I was going to be doing these constantly. I actually think I did alright. We posted a good amount, but I wanted to talk about some of the new stuff that I've been doing, only because it's a realm of work that really excites me. And there's no like rhyme or reasons to these videos. I don't know that they do well in any way. But the few of you that do watch them, I appreciate those who message me being like, oh no, I actually enjoy seeing what's going on. So why not, you know? So the big thing at the moment is development of like the future proofing of my businesses and where my career goes, which is such a cool like impasse to be at. And rather than seeing that as like a big stressful moment, because I'm sure some people would see it that way, but I do see like this is a cool, not necessarily crossroads, but junction to be like, where would I like to steer myself? And so the big thing is every business I've ever built and where I've picked my career every time was always around the same principle. It was helping people with the experience where I had the absence of help. And so when I decided to get into powerlifting coaching, that was off the back of doing my career as a powerlifter completely on my own, not having a coach, not having a social circle with it. Like I got into the whole thing completely on my own. So I wanted to go into coaching in a big way because I wanted to help those people, and obviously educational stuff around it came from that. When I did my master's in rehab, it was I had experienced pain and significant injury, and not wanted to see other people stuck. I hated what I had to experience, and so I didn't want other people to experience the same thing. And then when it was building the gym, building the gym was the same principle. It was, I didn't want there to be people who had this ambition and culture, but they didn't have a place to be that actually gave a shit, that really wanted to see you in an environment where you'd be your best. When it was building the DBD community and building DBD as a whole, it was actually two-parter. It was wanting that community for people, not just that they were led by a coach and could give them good outcomes, but also a great experience. Like I say, I was on my Todd doing this, and I've never resented it, but I am jealous actually of the athletes within my brand who get a thing I never had. And at times I don't think people recognize how big a thing that is. I think if you stripped it of them now, they'd probably be aware, but they don't realize what they would just like birthed into. And so the next phase is like, where does that next stage of help come in? Oh dear. Every time I do these, I realize that I yawn more, and I think it's because I speak at speed when I'm a little bit tired. Anyway, so the next stage of help kind of makes sense, right? Like, it was building these things to help people, but then it's helping people build these things. Now, the reason this is somewhat of an impasse for me is not because that doesn't make sense. And it's not because I don't want to do it. I love it. Especially if you're working with the right people, no different from working with a good athlete, working with people who care about their business and their clientele, members, whatever it is that they work with. That's amazing. And I've already been able to have the pleasure of working with some incredible people, and it is amazing. The impasse is time. All of these businesses have always been really time heavy in exchange of my time for money. And so if you look at coaching, realistically, it's actually quite a poor exchange, whether or not the social realm of powerlifting wants to really open that can of worms. Powerlifting coaching is really underpriced. It's probably the most underpriced coaching I've seen in the fitness industry. You could take someone in a bodybuilding industry who does an absolute arse job and they charge minimum double what you charge. And so that's kind of a paradigm that limits the business. Excuse me. And so, no way you're watching all of this now. The impasse is scalability, because I'm 32, I'm about to turn 33, that freaks me out, and I want to be able to build a thing that can last. And coaching can last because retention, like my retention rate with my athletes is phenomenally high, so I get to just focus on doing really good fucking work. But eventually that will time out. And I never don't want to coach. Like I just believe that the coach bit of everything that I've done, that's who I am, that's what I do best, and that's what I'd like to always do. But the business mentorship has the same problem. Oh, dear. And I see myself looking at this going, okay, well, I could do the time for money. It does pay better, but the impact is financially monstrous. People I've worked with who have made several thousand more a month off of working together, and so that's a huge a positive, because obviously if it pays better, then the exchange for time is okay. But at the end of the day, I'm going to run out of time to exchange for this, and then it's always do I want to always give just my time? And so then you look at the next two options, and one is more as an operator, is buying into these businesses and being like, I'll help you build, but I'd like a percentage. That's so reliant on the other person, and then I'd have to work with specific business types that don't see the same constraint that my time for exchange has. Or do you build a product? And you can scale a service. So if you take coaching, for instance, the service that I would never do, but it would be the logical, would be the one-to-many. So coaching, oh God, just more tired than I'm willing to accept. Coaching is a one-to-one service. So the exchange of time for money is very direct, and so you can't really stack that. You can probably add some add-ons and bits, and that's a different business model. Regardless, the only way to scale that is to do the one-to-many, and the one-to-many then would be something like, here's an objective program, many people are on it, many people check in together, many people in the community. And you can do that. I believe that's a poor service. So in that realm, I'm not willing to do it. But in business mentorship, you can do that. You can do a one-to-many, you can host a call a week, a call every other week, whatever it may well be, plus open group communities where you can have discussions and answer questions. I can then hire people in to help run that community. And then when it comes to the calls, I can cover objective subjects and then teach people through it. All makes sense. So why the impasse? There's a point in business and in your career, in my opinion, you ask yourself, who are you to everyone else? And because you can ask yourself that as a person, you're not going to have the answer. But as a business, I'm a coach. My goal has always been to be the powerlifting coach, just the name that you'd go to. And that's fucking a mile away, because I'm a coach. But if I start to push the mentorship thing, I'm that guy, and I don't want to be that guy, because I think that's a really skewed representation. I think it would really dilute coaching reputation. And trying to do both of those things at the same time in tandem is actually incredibly difficult to do. That's why we've opened a second page, and going to start launching that to try to keep it separate for now. But the big thing I'm struggling with is who I want to be and what I want the future of it to look like. So at the moment, I have been working with more businesses where I'm helping them, and it has been incredible, but I'm conscious of the time and how much time I want to give to that. So that's the impasse, which I'm really enjoying the difficulty of, because it means I get to actually make choices, like in control of the direction of the rest of my life, and that's a really privileged position to be in. And I'm aware of, I don't really like the term privilege, but the position I'm in is great. It's a really nice place to be. But everything I have, I earned, and so I never feel it's necessarily a privilege, but it's a position where I get to make more choice, and so maybe that is. But between running the gym, which is going unbelievably well, and then the concern, the opportunity to open another, or to make this one bigger, like they're big, and they're big opportunities. But the thing is, with all of these businesses, and the one thing I'm realizing, it's not about making more money. I've had opportunities to do that for a very long time. If it was just about making money, I know how to do that. And I've turned my head at a lot of those opportunities, decided against them, and decided it wasn't for me, because there were things I believed in substantially more than I had the care for making money. And I say that in a beautiful car on a way to another job. But I just don't know what I want from my future yet. I don't think I've decided. And this is like, if you've made it to this point, this is where it gets more significant, is being like, well, do I ever aim to be a family man? A huge thing, right? Like, I've always wondered, will I have kids? Because if I have kids, the time exchange business is a bad idea. That's not going to scale in a way that actually allows me to have time with a family. But that doesn't seem to be on the near horizon. So is it a business you prepare and you plan for what that's going to be? And someone once said to me, begin with the end in mind. And they meant that in starting a business. I hate it because I agree. Well, and I also grossly disagree because I think you have to have that in mind. But I think every business has phases, and sometimes you don't get to leave that phase. You might join a job and be like, right, I'm going to work my way up this corporate ladder, and you start doing that, and then you realize it's not going any further. And so the end in mind that you had of this top end position is no longer there, but you did make the right choice, but now you're at a crossroads. And I see myself in that same position. See, if at the end of the day I decide to never be a family man, which is something that I will sit with because it's a huge thing, well then what does life look like? Travel the world, that's something I've been able to do some of, but would love to do more of. And so it's not an impasse of just choosing a business, it's choosing a life. And I don't know. And I love that I don't know. So, that's where we're at. That's the stuff that's going on. There is websites being built, there is new systems being made. I still have inquiries for coaching and people are onboarding and prepping for international competitions down to regional. We've got the DBD Open that's in a couple of weeks. We're building the gym further. We're developing it, running internal systems, building the classes system, prepping to run courses. There's so much on every business that I run that is happening. And I adore it. I utterly love my life. I think it's very cool for me. So yeah, I'd love to talk about this more, and I am excited to run this business page just to give more opportunity to talk about some of this stuff because I do love it, and I do think anyone trying to develop their career, like, it is gatekeeping from most people to not try to just teach you. And I found the same in powerlifting. It's why I just wanted to give value as often as possible, teach as much as we could, and be like, if you want to hire me because I clearly know my shit, do it. But like, I want to teach, and I want to do that with business. It's going to be fun. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you've got any like stuff that you would love to see, like ideas for this, reach out. I'm so open. And there is always more time in the day, which is crazy because I don't know where it keeps coming from, but there is more time. I can do more. So if there's stuff you want to see, I'll see it done. Now I'm going to sit in traffic for like 20 fucking minutes. Peace.